Hello. We're less than a week away from the new year on the lunar calendar, where we move from, I think it's wood snake to fire horse. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's the 17th is the official, right? First day or new year on the lunar calendar or the Gregorian calendar, where we're moving from this old sloughing off skin shedding snake, shedding its skin, moving into a new animal, new identity, new momentum, the energies of passion, forward movement. Some of the messages I've been getting: seek support, time for self-care in all areas, and create open space. Clean out the house, clean out the to-do calendar, especially the things that are really eating your lunch. Again, messages I'm getting, but on the internal level too. I talked last week about openness on the physical level, emotional, and mental. I'm feeling the emphasis on the mental part, the mental body or the mental layer this week. I'm going to give a little recap of this podcast that I listened to that I just thought was one of the best I've heard in a long time. Just in case you don't want to listen to the whole thing, don't even want to read the long synopsis, I'm going to try and make it as short as I can. Because I feel a lot of truth and usefulness in this lady's message, Dr. Ellen Langer. Look, her words, not mine. Anything frustrating can be changed. Okay, her words, not mine. This lady is a Harvard professor in the School of Psychiatry. She was the first woman tenured in psychiatry at Harvard. You know, do with that what you will. Again, her words, not mine, that I'm about to read to you. Brief. And as the resident holistic / integrative medicine practitioner here, I'm going to say, when I hear her words, I do take issue with some details here and there, but with her overall message, it very much resonates with all of my own research and studies and experience. Again, take that for what it's worth. Okay, ready? Her words, Dr. Ellen Langer. Because I think the major cause of illness and the major cause... Start again. Let's see, I don't want to start the video over again. All right. Because I think the major cause of illness and the major thing that leads to people's unhappiness is stress. And stress is not a function of events. Stress is a function of the views we take of events. It seems Dr. Langer is just asking us to consider the labels we use for things. If we're calling a thing, it becomes a thing. Our thoughts turn to things. Abraham Hicks. Our thoughts create our reality. All of the mystical and spiritual teachers out there. There is more to this. I feel like I can't hit all angles in the length of time that I have allotted for this video. Let me say, I am not advocating for toxic positivity. Listen to last week's video on the emotional openness, so I'm not advocating for that. There's some sort of a middle balance here for, labeling something, ooh, this is bad, this is good. It makes me think of the Zen farmer story. The son breaks his leg. The neighbor says, ooh, bad news. But then the farmer's like, maybe. And then, you know, because he breaks his leg, he doesn't have to go to war. I'm shortening this, what is it? Koan, this parable, wisdom story. The son doesn't have to go to war because he's got that broken leg. And so it's just this, it makes me think of this saying, to wear the world like a loose garment. So what's been helping me this week is just to kind of pay attention to the labels I am putting on things. And so basically this lady is having us err on the side of, you know, we could label it a more negative thing, but our, you know, considering our own health and our happiness, those are going to thrive when we're erring on the positive side of things. Okay? Again, I'm not advocating for the toxic positivity. I feel like it's a dance between these two things for myself personally. I'm kind of keeping an eye out for where I'm putting a negative label on something that just may not be true. But I do also engage in a nightly mystical practice, and this is something that has been transformed into a practice that all the 12-step programs on the planet also advocate for. In the mystical traditions, such as the Jewish Essene practice, they believe that right before bed, it is good to remove any, they call it spiritual toxicity. Remove it, where you're looking at what, you know, where was I irritated during the day, or where did I feel angry or displeased or resentful, and kind of taking note of that. Fearful thoughts, where was I fearful or selfish, or where was I being dishonest during the day, things like this. And it's a and then you're essentially asking for guidance in what corrective measures to take in the evening. So again, this is just me not wanting to advocate for toxic positivity, but also keep an eye on the labels that we're giving things. Here's a really brief example, and I'm covering so little of what I want to cover, but you know, hey, so doing my best with the time I have allotted. I've got to give my cat a big needle attached to a really long tube, attached to an IV bag with saline solution in it. Now, my original story I had told the vet, I love this vet dearly, and I said, I did this with my beloved soulmate cat that passed on a little while ago. It felt traumatizing. I'm not doing it again, and I left the vet. Drove the hour it takes me to get home. And I took more of it, and I just said, let's not clamp down on that story. Let's just stay a little bit open to this, and just let's not close it down at least. So I at least was sort of just keeping that possibility open. A few days later, I felt some sort of a renewed strength, and I went and I got the bag, came home to my kitty Egg. And it's funny because right before I did it, I was just feeling a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety, and I was just like, I wanted to pull out this old story in my head that I have PTSD about doing this for the last kitty. Ambulance, where are they going? Please. Anyway, so this is what I did. I went from, so I felt like a shaky chihuahua around this whole idea of sticking this needle, oh my God, into my beloved, if y'all knew how I felt about these cats. And I don't have children, so those of you with children, you all know what I'm saying. You can picture your own, put yourself in this human seat somewhere in your life, and it's just, you know, that moment where you're like, I cannot inflict harm on this being that I love so dearly even though it's not, it's, you know, it's that little moment of, you know, harm or a pinch or pain, but you know, the long game here is helping this creature being that we love so much. So my point is here is I opened the lid on my shutdown story where I told my friend, the vet, love dearly, known her for many years, when I was like, no, I'm not doing it. And I'm like, do you really think I should? And she was like, this is like, the kidney disease has potentially advanced. I think it would be a really good thing. And I was like, well, I can't do it. So I at least opened the lid on that thing, and I'm just like, just give this some time, Erika. Don't shut this down. Just keep it open. And what's so surprising to me is that Barack Obama was the one that came and helped me. So I saw this little video of him. Did I already tell you this? God, probably. Hope not. Repetition, the mother of all learning. We'll say that. See, is she repeating herself, or is she using just a wonderful teaching tactic? Repetition is it's, you know, the label we put on things. I saw this video of Barack Obama. He was giving some sort of a talk, and somebody in the audience started having a pretty serious medical need. And that man, nothing about him changed. He was just so cool about it. And he's like, hey, where's Dr. So-and-so? You know, this person's lying on the floor convulsing. So, you know, we need him here now. We got him? Great. And he just was moving on with his, and I was like, dang, now that's, what a quality, like, what a quality to have, to really just be like, I'm not having a reaction to this. I'm responding to this, taking care of the need. Just because there's drama going on doesn't mean I need to be dramatic. So I kind of take on that energy of Barack when I'm about to give this needle and prepare it, and you know, my breathing's all nervous and everything, but I'm working on it. I'm working with a long, coherent breath, and I'm going, come on, Barack, come on into my system, and just taking that example of this leader who is just cool under pressure and gets done what needs to be done for the good of the whole, and that's it. So there's a personal example. I need examples to learn, juxtapose, you know, your situation on top of that. This stuff affects our happiness and our health, so I'm taking an interest in it for sure. I'm going to continue this week if I feel myself moving into that sort of shaky chihuahua aspect of myself, to remember to relax, remain open, not clamp down on that story that I'm, you know, too scared or unable to do a certain thing. And at least remaining in that open space, keeping it open so that energy can shift. And then maybe, you know, take on something like Barack's energy, changing the label. Instead of, I have PTSD from the last thing, I don't do this. I don't do needles. I can't inject a needle into my beloved creature. To, you know, I can handle this. I can handle this. Our beliefs really matter. My favorite definition of belief is a thought that we keep thinking. Look at the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza, Abraham Hicks. Look at the studies on the placebo effect. It's mind-blowing. I'm not going to go through all the details, because I just don't have the time right now, but I want to connect as best I can. This keeps occurring to my head, so I'll share it. There are some lines from beloved poet Mary Oliver where she says, only if there are angels in your head will you ever possibly see angels? It's like these great poets and philosophers, or the great poets. I'll leave it with them for now. It's like they know how to say the most wise, true thing in the most simple, gentle way. Wow, really holding both masters. I don't know. I think that lady's a master. May we all, in this big energetic shift, wear the world like a loose garment for the sake of our health and our happiness. Yeah, I love you guys. Thank you for those of you who listen, who respond to me during the week. It means a lot. Thank you. Yeah, more soon. Love you. Mean it. Bye.